Well, Republicans and Democrats see this bill differently. North Georgia GOP Representative Marjorie Greene says this bill is going to grow our economy. And she joins us now live. And Representative Greene, thank you so much for joining us here on Local 3 News at noon. And we're going to get straight to it. So give me your thoughts on the bill and how it will grow our economy. And then also, I'd like you to respond to the nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office, who said the bill will increase the national debt by $2.3 trillion and rescind health care coverage for 8.6 million.
Well, we're so excited to pass President Trump's agenda in the One Big Beautiful Bill. This bill was worked on very tightly between the White House and the House of Representatives. The great news is it gives no tax on tips, no tax on overtimes, and gives a great deduction for senior citizens. These were President Trump's campaign promises. It also permanently puts into law President Trump's Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that was passed in 2017. So this is going to grow the economy, allow businesses to grow. More importantly, it's going to put thousands and thousands of dollars back in people's wallets and their bank accounts with these great tax cuts. No tax on overtime is amazing for police officers, factory workers, anybody that works a lot of overtime, and will be a great incentive for them to continue to do so, and they won't have to pay taxes. There's also great savings for families with a child deduction, and also the savings accounts that this puts into place for people that are planning to have babies and grow their families. So we are so excited about this. The One Big Beautiful Bill has also wonderful things in it to grow America's energy, which we desperately need. We need strong, secure energy, and it undoes the Biden era Green New Deal. These were failing energy scams, things that caused countries like Spain to go in the dark. And we're so excited about the border security provisions. The Democrats flooded our country with millions and millions of illegal aliens, cartels, terrorists, sex trafficking, human trafficking, and drug trafficking. This is going to fund the administration's ability to make sure our border is secure and also get the cartels and the terrorists out from within the interior of the country. Lastly, you had a two-part question there, responding to CBO. CBO is on record for getting it wrong over and over again. So what we're excited about is President Trump's investments into America, the great business deals that he has made with many companies who have committed to spending and investing over $5 trillion into the U.S. economy. That's going to grow the economy, as well as President Trump fighting, using tariffs as a tool to make trade fair again for American businesses. So this is pro-growth, it's pro-America, and we're excited to get it done.
Representative Greene, so actually you just landed me right to the next point as we go into that, talking about immigration issues and detention. So what is your response? And I know you did issue to our station a written response to the hundreds of protesters who were outside of your office last week because of Amina Arias Cristobal's arrest and detention. Now, one woman out there said, quote, "We don't need to take people who've grown up here and are living productive lives and kick them out of the country." So what is your response to that?
Well, number one, I always support everyone's First Amendment. And so it's good for people to speak out. Secondly, the law is the law, and we don't get to pick and choose who gets to break the law and who gets to follow the law. It's important for us to uphold the law. And that's the most important thing that we can do and our government can do. You know, it's unfortunate that this young lady's parents never pursued a path of citizenship when they illegally brought her into the country when she was a young child. And I think that's important to point out. She grew up in a great area, got a great education, and thankfully she's bilingual. You know, in Mexico today, there's over 1.6 million United States of America citizens living and thriving in Mexico, and I'm sure she and her family will be able to do the same. But it's important, you know, for our nation, for our sovereignty, for us to uphold the law, and, you know, this is what we have to do.
And so on that same topic, Representative Greene, some people are saying, okay, so we're rounding up there, it's ICE detention centers, and also we're not letting refugees into the country, but we did let 59 white South Africans come into the country. And so people are saying, well, how is that fair? And what is your response to that when people ask that question?
Well, I think genocide is something very to take serious. Being threatened because you're a white farmer in South Africa and being murdered and beaten is something to take serious. And America has a history of bringing in refugees fleeing political violence from countries all over the world. I can't imagine that Democrats are so racist that they don't want to let these people that are facing genocide and are being murdered simply for their skin color. I can't imagine that they're actually going to go down that road. America has let in refugees from Afghanistan, from Somalia. As a matter of fact, I work with one of them, Ilhan Omar. She's an elected member of Congress who was brought here as a refugee when she was a child. This is part of being American, and this is something that we do. So I can't understand why anyone would have an issue with that unless they're racist themselves, unless they hate people simply because they're white and believe that white people should be murdered. And I think that's a horrible thing to wish anyone to be murdered simply for the color of their skin. I think the Trump administration is doing a great job rounding up murderers like the cartel member, like the man that killed Laken Riley. Rounding up child rapists. The Biden administration lost hundreds of thousands of migrant children. And here we have ICE and Border Patrol and all parts of the government, FBI included, are all looking for these migrant children. And thankfully, they are finding them. So this is important work that needs to be done. And I think Americans should focus on the fact and be thankful for a federal government that is actually looking after the safety of American citizens.
Representative Green, thank you for that response. And again, I think we'll all agree that we certainly can't hate each other because of the color of our skin. And so the last thing I want you to do is to talk about the tariffs. And some companies are saying, look, we're going to have to pass these along. The president says these are to make people support American companies and to buy Americans. But there's some pain right now that Americans are feeling. Are you confident that you can tell your constituents and Americans that these tariffs are working?
They are working. And my constituents, especially in Northwest Georgia and this entire region of the country, has suffered the loss of manufacturing, watching their jobs be sent overseas for years and years. And that has had such a devastating toll and effect on all of these rural, small towns. They simply lost their economies and watched their small towns just kind of rot away and not be able to grow. President Trump is very courageous in fighting for America, fighting for American companies, and he's making historic trade deals happening every single day, talking with China, India, many countries around the world, and making these deals so that we can put our companies first that will grow jobs in America and help every single American. This is not a political thing. This is an American thing. And I think tariffs are a great tool to get there. And President Trump has given out a strong warning to many businesses and said, do not make your customers suffer during this time. And he's going to work it out. And I have faith and trust in President Trump, and I'm excited to watch this process happen.
Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene from North Georgia, thank you so very much for joining us. And next time you're in town, stop by the station here. We'd love to see you. Thank you.